All right, Kelly, thanks so much. Now on AM Extra, we know the holidays are a time for cheer, but they can also place a lot of strain on your mental health.
Yeah, and that's true for kids as well. But the National Alliance of Mental Illness is out with a new book to help parents this season. You Are Not Alone for Parents and Caregivers provides families with tools and resources rooted in real-life experience. So here to talk about how the book could help your family is Dr. Christine Crawford, Associate Medical Director with NAMI. Good morning. Thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, it's an important topic. You know, the holidays, they can be stressful for so many reasons, for so many different people. How is your book tackling one of these issues?
Yeah, so the holidays is stressful for everyone.
Sure.
And it could be hard to initiate conversations with your kids about how to navigate the holidays. So I talk a lot about how to talk to your kids about the important stuff. So when it comes to the holidays, people are not following their typical routines and schedules. And we know for kids, routine is so important. Predictability is so important. So talking to your kids about, what do you think about the holiday seasons? Are there things that worry you about what's coming up? How can I best prepare you for what to expect during this time of the year?
Yeah.
Well, and we know that, you know, kids are such sponges, so they pick up on things that are stressing you out as well, you know, whether that's the holiday finances, the travel plans, the family dynamics. How do you bring kids into some of those family conversations in a way that's age appropriate for them?
Yeah, so I talk about how parents should talk about their own feelings and get in the habit of doing that often. Don't just talk about your feelings every once in a while when things are big, but do it on the regular, because that way you're modeling to your kids about how to talk about what's inside and talk about it to everyone around you so that it can best support you. So those sort of strategies and others are mentioned in the book about how to take care of yourself as a parent while you're taking care of your kid.
How, as a parent, do you begin to either approach your child or even just check for signs that they may be, you know, grieving or struggling at all? You know, how do you take that initiative?
Yeah, because the holidays can bring up a whole host of feelings.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, even though we think about joy and happiness, it could be a time of loss, reflection of who isn't there. So if you notice that your kid is not functioning in the way they typically do, you're noticing that their sleep patterns are off, their appetite is off, they're not doing as well in school, they're not talking to their friends the way that they used to do, be curious about what's behind some of that change in the behavior. And if it's going on for 2 weeks and it's really getting in the way of things, you might be better off talking to your pediatrician about how you could take care of your kid during this time of the year.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, the holiday break also kind of gives you some of that time at home, maybe a little more time with the kids to have some of these conversations. What's a good way to try and get into some of those conversations with your kids? Because how are you doing if you ask that to a teenager? You know, good luck getting a workable
I'm
response,
fine.
right?
Jeez,
Yeah.
leave me alone.
I know, that happens all the time. But I tell parents, start small. You don't have to get into the big stuff right away because you might get that door slammed in your face.
Yeah.
But I say to parents, you know, say things like, well, I'm having some difficulty today. I wonder how you've been navigating things. And if your kid keeps slamming the door, Mom, this is stupid. Why are you talking to me right now? You're literally planting seeds. And over time, you're watering those seeds with every single interaction that you have, whether it's a, how are you doing? Oh, I just want to check in. And who knows, maybe in a couple of weeks after watering with each interaction, that might actually bloom into a conversation in which your teenage kid might actually come up to you and say, Mom, you're right, something is going on.
Yeah.
Can we talk now?
Yeah. What I think is interesting too, and I don't know if your book goes into this or not, but you know, assuming if the kid is feeling that loss, the parent is probably also feeling that same loss, so dealing with their own potential grief while also needing to manage their child's emotions. What do you do as a parent in that situation?
Just know that you don't have to be perfect. You're a human being too, with your own feelings, your own emotional experiences. So just talking out loud about what things are like for you can be a really helpful way to model how to navigate grief. So you could say something like, you know, this time of the year really makes me miss Grandma a lot, and it makes me feel really sad. But what I do to make me feel a little bit better is I like to take a walk. I like to call your Aunt Jane pain.
Yeah.
I like to exercise. Those are the things that I do to make me feel better when I'm feeling sad about grandma. I wonder, what are some things that you could do? What can we do together?
Yeah.
And starting with that vulnerability yourself, you know, goes a really long way. Well, Dr. Crawford, we appreciate you being here. Some great advice as we head into the holiday season. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
And if you want to find a copy, you can find them wherever books are sold. Also, when you check out the story on coin.com. You are not alone. A great reminder this time of year and always.
It is